If you've seen my last couple videos, you know I've been experimenting with quarter wave parasitic arrays. And subjectively, over the last 3 months, I felt like they've worked pretty well. I've gotten good signal reports, I've made more contacts, but I want to know for a fact if they're working better than my other antennas. And so traditionally I've been using the reverse beacon network to compare antennas, but I'm coming to the realization that might not be the best thing for side-by-side comparisons. It's great to see where your antennas, where your signal's going, your signal noise ratio at each skimmer, but often when you switch antennas, the same skimmer may not pick you up and give you a signal to noise ratio. So it kind of is not the most useful. When researching these parasitic arrays, I came across Steve VE6WZ and his YouTube channel. He has some really amazing videos on his 160 meter parasitic array, which he can remotely switch in 12 different directions. It's pretty impressive. I recommend you checking that video out. In fact, I'll link it in the description. But he has a few other videos, and one of them was on testing antenna performance. And it was a great idea. Basically, he uses the KIWI SDR and the S-meter attachment on that SDR to test his antenna performance. And you can even measure front to back, and he shows you how to make an azimuth plot to compare to models as well. So today I wanted to try to compare a few of my antennas here at home. I have been using a Cobweb antenna for the most part on 20 meters through 6 meters. And that's a very convenient antenna for the HOA. It's small and I have it on a telescoping mast. I can put it up and take it down pretty quickly. Now, a Cobweb, if you're not familiar with them, they're a folded dipole. So being that it's a folded dipole, you don't get the same radiation pattern as a regular dipole. It's a more omnidirectional pattern. You don't have the broadside gain or the nulls at the end. And it seems to have been working pretty well for me. So I want to compare the parasitic array to the Cobweb, and then I'll also just compare a single element quarter wave and kind of see the difference. So let's go in the shack and compare them. All right, so here we are back in the shack, and I've got the KIWI SDR pulled up, and I'm on a station. It is K9MQ, which is in Indiana. It's about 1,000 miles from me. It's a little bit more east than where my antenna is pointed. My antenna is pointed about 40 degrees. This is 47 degrees, but it's close enough. And I've got an open frequency here. I'm gonna go ahead and key up, and we'll just see where the S meter is reading. You can see there's quite a bit of QSB there, but that should give us a decent reading. So now I'm going to go out and switch to my Cobweb, and we'll see where that reading is. All right, so I'm on my Cobweb now, and let's go ahead and start this again and see where the Cobweb is reading. So this is my Cobweb. All right, so it's reading about S3, S4, where the, so it's about S3. The array was about S7, so definitely a huge improvement. So now what I plan to do is I'll go ahead and take the director off, and it'll be a 2 element, and then we'll test that, and then I'll take the reflector off.
This is a closer look at the difference between the Cobweb on the left and the 3 element on the right. As you can see, there's about a 20 to 24 dBm difference between the 2 signals. The Cobweb was reading about 3 on the S meter, and the 3 element was reading about 7 on the S meter.
Okay, I've disconnected the radials from the director, and that should render the parasitic element, basically make it not work. So this is the 2 element with just a reflector. Okay, so here is just a single quarter wave, and let's start this again. All right, so you can definitely see there's a major difference between a single, a 2-element, and a 3-element. Okay, I went ahead and hooked the 3-element back just to do another comparison. Okay, yeah, pretty big difference. There's a lot of QSB on the band now, but you can definitely tell that the signal is much stronger. So this is my Cobweb. You know, it's a very quiet antenna. It's there's essentially no noise. Now if I switch my off-center fed, just listen to how much noise we have. And then I'm gonna switch back to the Cobweb.
So after doing the tests with the KIWI SDR, I used both antennas on the air and had a number of QSOs with each of them. And that allowed me to call CQ with both antennas and get some RBN spots. And so we can compare. Earlier in the video, I had said I'd come to the conclusion that using the RBN may not be the best for side-by-side antenna comparisons. And what I meant by that is if you have two antennas set up and you do a couple tests and switch antennas and do another one, you may not get picked up or have enough RBN spots to really take a close look at the difference. But in this case, I was able to call CQ a number of times on each antenna over a few minutes, and so we were able to get some good information here. So here are my spots on the Cobweb, and here are the spots on the 3-element. As you can see, I've got a lot more, and even have some in Europe. But what's interesting is I was able to hit a number of the same nodes with both antennas, so we can kind of compare signal to noise ratio at each one. So if we just take a look here at Omaha, I was 33 dB with a 3-element, and on the Cobweb I was 13. Actually, I think I clicked on the wrong one here. So it's 14 on the same one here. And then if we look just west of Chicago, I was 24 dB with a 3-element, and here I was 10 dB on the Cobweb. And then here in Ohio, 17 dB with a parasitic array, and I was 6 dB on the Cobweb. And then finally in North Carolina, 13 dB on the Cobweb and 30 dB on the 3-element. After I saw that I had hit a few reverse beacon nodes in Europe, I used the KIWI SDR again, and I was actually able to hear myself on a few of them if the noise floor was low. So that was pretty neat. So I'm glad I have this information. It looks like my 3-element's working pretty well for me, and now I have some information that shows that it works a lot better than the Cobweb, especially in the direction that it's pointed. If you like videos like this, I plan on doing a couple videos in the next week or two on a few different antennas. I plan to do one on Greg KJ6ER's Challenger, which is an off-center fed half-wave vertical. And I might try to build a half-square antenna that was recommended by a few of the people that saw my previous videos. So look out for those, and I'll catch you on the air. 73.